This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Friday, September 15th, 2023, and we're so glad you can join us for today's episode. In today's episode, I will be joined by Suzanne Shirbroun of the Iowa Soybean Association. And in fact, Suzanne is the new president of the Iowa Soybean Association. She will join me today for Between the Pods. We will also have a check of the ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day, we are joined by Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net for our closing analysis. Curt, what did we see take place in the grains today?
Well, kind of a sell-off towards the end of the weekend through here, kind of lack of any positive news. We're in this time of the year where, expect sales to take place and harvest activity and so forth. But no new news on Chinese bean buying. We'd like to see some exports being booked here, and it's just not happening yet. Brazil still has a few more beans and corn to sell, and they're a little bit cheaper. So I think the Asian market needs to come to us here because of logistics, and also they're going to run out here before we get to next spring when that Brazilian crop comes online. So demand's a concern, but the market push tug from the fact that some of these yields are just a little bit lower, but demand is just not bullish right now, but that'll come over time. The marketing year just started, so we'll see what happens as we move forward. Monthly crush report came in 161.4. His expectations were up towards 168. So that's a thorn in the side. Soybean oil stocks, 1.25 billion pounds. That was quite a bit below trade expectations, about 1.46 billion pounds. We're using a lot of bean oil. This domestic bean oil demand is huge. And so processors took a little downtime, backed off a little bit here, but some new facilities come online. I think we could probably see this bean oil or the bean oil usage market stay fairly hot as we go into 2024. Crude oil, strong week this week in the crude oil market, and that's part of the energy sector, part of world oil market. Something to keep an eye on as we move forward here. Weather-wise, talking to the commercial guys, their main conversation is these bean crushers are a little worried that if we get a little rain in through here, it could slow down bean harvest and keep a few beans away from them. But the corn guys, the ethanol guys, are worried, well, if we have dry weather, guys will go in the beans, I won't get the corn. So everybody's got their own little situation that they're trying to work through here. So we'll see how this weather unfolds. But gosh, world weather, Australia remains dry, strong on Nino there, continue to that crop a little lower. China weather forecast was too earlier. Now, as you've watched the news, flooding in some areas. So world weather is something to keep an eye on. Locally, we got some showers here Saturday night, barely clear. So probably could use a little bit of rain in some areas. Looking through the back door here, yields. Guys are seeing yields a little better than expected. Of course, we assumed the worst situation because we were dry through here, but we're seeing some 200 bushel corn where they were looking, 180, 190. Moisture's coming down quite a bit. Kind of interesting talking to some guys in western Iowa there, how the crop was dinged according to what side of the slope they were farming. On the southwest side, where the sun just really hit it hard, they've got 40, 60 bushel corn. On the other side of the slope was 150, so highly variable. Bean wise, here in some 75 bushel beans, they're testing about 9 to 10%. The elevator guy was kind of wishing he would have opened the door a little sooner, so they dried down fairly quickly here on everybody. Harvest activity Monday afternoons expected to show corn harvest 9 to 10% complete as a nation. Average is 7%. Last week we were at 5%. One other side note is October crop report on October 12th. There's ideas here if this leadership in Washington don't get their act together and don't pass some bills here fairly quickly, we might have that as a delayed report. On the weekly charts, corn down. The September corn went off the board this week at 462. The Dees is at 476. So hopefully we don't go down there and pick up where it left off. The over charts still sideways in through here. Soybean wise, kept banging up against that downtrend line. Just can't get above it. Beans actually finished about over 20 cents lower on the week. September beans off the board this week at 13.43 3/4. The market closed today at 13.40 1/4. So we're down to where they went off the board. Wheat wise, wheat futures had the good week this week. Wheat was up about almost 10 cents a bushel. Wheat had a weekly price reversal up to the upside. There on Wednesday, we did see a daily price reversal upside. So the bought wheat, sold corn, bought wheat, sold beans. So see what next week brings. The big thing is get some more yield reports, try to get a handle on production, even though that's getting fairly well dialed in.
So Curt, let's flip over to the other side of the markets and what took place in the livestock complex.
Well, to infinity and beyond. This also fat market's doing what they thought way back when. It's just continue grind higher. No packer margins are pretty bad in the red. The market keeps moving higher. The October fats, over $3 higher for the week. So they're still scooting along in through here. Still tight numbers. Still a bullish situation there. Hogs finished up about $2.50, $2.40 for the week. They were fairly good. Technically they're kind of, a little bit more sideways, but all the enthusiasm's on the beef side there. So if you see some ribeyes on sale, you might want to grab some. Products hanging in there. Feed needs, if you're a producer, might want to use some fall harvest pressure to get a little on the books, because I think guys are going to store stuff. So it's a situation we get stuff booked pretty good. I'd jump on that. Then pasture, we'll watch pasture conditions and get a handle on those.
Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net, our guest. Curt, thank you for the analysis as always. What's the best way for our listeners, our viewers, to get in touch for more information?
Agmarket.net. You can get us a call here locally, 1-800-779-1515. But if you're in the area, stop by. I got a hat I'll give you.
He is Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net. Curt, thank you so much for the time, and we'll speak again soon. Have a great weekend.
Take care.
Thank you to Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net for our closing market analysis today and some Buzz Lightyear quotes as well. Let's turn our attention now to those closing numbers, courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart.
December corn down 4 1/4 at 476 1/4. November soybeans down 20 1/4 at 1340 1/4. December soybean meal down $7.30 at $392.10. December soybean oil up 34 cents at $62.06. Chicago wheat up 9 1/4 at $629 1/2. Minneapolis wheat up 4 even at $804 even. Kansas City hard red wheat up 10 1/4 at $751 1/2. And March oats down 1 even at $489 3/4. On the Merc, October live cattle up $1.45 at $186.92. September feeder cattle up $2.20 at $257.37. October lean hogs down 22 cents at $83.12.
And that's been a check of the Ag Market Recap here on Ag Matters PM. It's time now to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, it is the latest edition of Between the Pods here on AMPM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
You're watching Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. Today, I have the latest edition of Between the Pods. I'm joined by Suzanne Shirbroun of the Iowa Soybean Association. This is AMPM.
It's time to go between the pods with the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network and the Iowa Soybean Association. For the next year, we will explore the ways Iowa-grown soybeans are making a difference at home and around the world. Now, here's your host of Between the Pods, Mark Magnuson.
Mark Magnuson for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm joined today by Suzanne Shirbroun. We are on Between the Pods, and Suzanne is stepping into a very important position with the Iowa Soybean Association. Suzanne, could you tell us about that, please?
Thank you very much for being here today. I will be taking over as president of the Iowa Soybean Association tomorrow afternoon.
And Suzanne, what does that mean to you personally, and I guess just excitement for what's upcoming ahead?
It's an opportunity to continue to help guide the direction that our farmer board and the Iowa Soybean Association uses checkoff dollars.
And Suzanne, where are you from here in the state of Iowa? Where do you represent?
I represent District 3, which would be the northeast quarter of the state of Iowa.
Okay, Suzanne, so let's just talk a little bit, as obviously, again, congratulations on the move into the job of president, but let's talk about some things that are currently happening in the world of soybeans. And right now, of course, we're getting close to harvest. What are those crop conditions looking like right now? For obviously, you get to talk with a lot of different people around the state.
We are in our summer board meeting right now, and there are 22 board members. And so one of the first things we did today was go around the room and get a crop report from every one of us. And you got to remember, we have 9 reporting districts in the state of Iowa, so we have 2 directors from each crop reporting district, as well as 4 at large. So we're spread pretty evenly across the state, and there's a lot of variability across the state right now. We have, northwest Iowa, they've been getting a little more rain. They were dry for the last 2 or 3 years, and so they're getting some. Northeast Iowa, we've been on the, good conditions, even on the wet side the last few years. Well, all of a sudden, the spigot turned off in our corner of the world. So we are also dry. So there's a lot of variability. There are the haves and the have-nots. Even in a neighbor 5 miles away might have a different crop report than another farmer. So there's just a lot of variability out there. The drought is taking its toll.
Generally, statewide, it is a heat issue this summer because obviously we've had the extreme heat to deal with.
That is correct. Heat and dryness. Iowa's known for its summer humidity, and there have been a fair number of days and weeks where we have not had a lot of humidity. So between the heat, lack of moisture, it's taking its toll on the crop.
And when it comes to pests and those types of things, we kind of in line with what we normally would be seeing at this point of the year when you got that crop conditions report kind of around the room?
Yes. Spider mites have been flaring up in a few spots, and there have been treatments for that. White mold is showing its ugly head. For as dry as we are in northeast Iowa, we're seeing white mold show up, and a little bit of sudden death as well.
And unfortunately, with the white mold, that was a topic of discussion at the Farm Progress Show recently. It is making its way more south. We think of it as more of a northern infestation, a problem that causes issues up in the northern states, specifically Minnesota. It's creeping down into Iowa more, isn't it?
Yes, unfortunately, in our northeast corner, we've been dealing with it for about 20 years already. So we're just spreading the joy and love of white mold further south now.
But Suzanne, at the same time, we know that now soybean farmers have a lot more tools, a lot more ability to fight these things off, and that includes the heat, the drought. What has been able to be learned in research trials, things like that, that has allowed soybean farmers to better make it through these tough periods?
Oh, goodness, that's a loaded question. A large percentage of our budget at the Iowa Soybean Association goes towards research at the state as well as the regional, national level. And I'm very proud of that fact that the tools that we are able to use now and in the future have had their start here at the Iowa Soybean Association. Right now, we are funding research at the regional level through the North Central Soybean Research Program. We're looking at drought as well as flood-tolerant soybeans. We're looking at lines that are more resilient in a flood situation or as well as a drought. And in some cases, that might be the same field. as in our area, it was super wet right up till Mother's Day, and then we just dried out. So, you need to have very robust varieties out there, and that's the great part. Iowa Soybean Association is also supporting a lot of research here right at Iowa State as well. So, like I said, that's one of my prides.
And Suzanne, isn't that kind of the beauty of it, that we already are seeing the results of past research that has come to fruition, because now we have the ability to withstand these periods where in the past the heat might have caused a lot more problems than it does to us now, just because we've come so far.
Oh, that is exactly right. I'm going to date myself. I remember 1988, the drought of 88, and we're very close, at least in Clayton County, Iowa, to the lack of moisture that we had in 88. One of our neighbors who keeps track of moisture says we're at like 5.5 inches, and 88 it was 3.5 inches. So we're a little bit further ahead. But the crops, whether it's soybeans or corn, it's amazing how well the crop has looked this long into the growing season. And like I said, I remember 88, and there were not a lot of soybeans in those pods, and the corn was just hellacious. So it's very positive what genetics have done, and there again, it's the checkoff investments made by Iowa soybean farmers who have helped with that.
And then farmers, they're able to see that result in the yield numbers because they're putting the money into the research that is happening. And then at the end of the day, they still have those numbers that they can be proud of, even after a rough season, if everything doesn't go as planned.
That is true. Checkoff dollars are farmer dollars being invested where it's going to be the most efficient as well as influential for a farmer and his or her operation.
Suzanne, also want to ask you about what's upcoming for Iowa Soybean Association. Any events we are looking forward to now?
Well, we're getting ready for our winter summit, and we are now getting ready for farmers to nominate individuals they believe have been leaders within the soybean industry to recognize them this winter. And so there's an opportunity, like I said, to nominate somebody at iasoybeans.com, as well as the Research Center for Farming Innovation is looking for farmers who want to take part in different research studies from cover crops to planting populations to new products, whether it's biologicals or traditional herbicides, insecticides, that type of thing. So there are lots of opportunities for farmers to get involved in that as well. So, and there again, a farmer can go to iasoybeans.com and get the information and go from there.
And then, Suzanne, as we wrap up, we'll just wrap up with how we started. You're taking over as president of Iowa Soybean Association. In your time as president-elect, I guess, what have you learned in getting ready for this role, and what are you looking forward to the most?
I've learned that I have a very supportive board, as well as we have a very talented staff on board with the Iowa Soybean Association. Every time I leave a board meeting, I'm just amazed at the creativity of our Iowa soybean staff and what they come up with for new opportunities for our Iowa farmers.
And we're here at the summer meetings today in Ames, and Suzanne ready to take over as president of Iowa Soybean Association. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and once again, congratulations on the new job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to Suzanne Shirbroun with the Iowa Soybean Association. Let's turn our attention now to the ag weather outlook. Well, a little bit different weather pattern here over the next couple of days than what we've seen this week, where it's been fairly quiet in the state of Iowa and some mild temperatures that have made it feel very comfortable as we wrap up the summer season. And now we start to talk about some rain in the forecast, although it is pretty well scattered throughout the state. Today, that is the case. Tonight, that is the case. And again, tomorrow, we're going to have scattered chances for rain throughout much of Iowa. So let's turn our attention now to the National Weather Service and what's in store for the next 24 hours.
As you can see from the National Weather Service, mostly variable cloud cover today with scattered chances for showers and thunderstorms, and the high temperature range expected 72 to 81. Tonight, partly cloudy with chances for showers and thunderstorms across the state, low temperatures 52 to 59. And for Saturday, mostly sunny with scattered chances for showers and thunderstorms, highs 74 to 80. And turning our attention now to our affiliate weather map for Saturday. Cherokee, sunny, high around 74. Shenandoah, mostly sunny, then a slight chance for thunderstorms, high around 80. Des Moines, high of 78, mostly sunny skies. Albia, chance for thunderstorms, high around 77. In Waterloo, a slight chance for thunderstorms, then a chance for showers, high around 77. Clinton, chance for showers, then a chance for thunderstorms, and a high around 76.
For a more detailed forecast in your part of the state, make sure and check with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that brings us to the end of the Ag Weather Outlook. That also wraps up today's show of AMPM. For all of our content, you can visit our website at iowaagnet.com. For all of our video content, you can find that on YouTube for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe, click on the notification icon as well. That will let you know whenever we have any new videos available for you. Don't forget as well our free twice daily market podcast, which can be found at Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. For Riley Smith and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.